Washington Commanders at home for some Saturday night fever, and they aren't the worst team in the NFC East, so they got that going for them.
There's McLaurin inside the 10, stays on his feet, into the end zone for a Commanders touchdown.
This was supposed to be the first of two big late-season showdowns with the Philadelphia Eagles, who snapped a 3-game losing streak by beating the Raiders last week, and yes, that still counts.
Shovel pass, Dallas Goedert. How do you like that, Greg Olsen? A little shovel to the tight end for the day's first score.
Vegas is the type of team to get right against. Eagles got right. Commanders, the kind of team in theory they can keep making right turns against. Offense rolls in off a 31-point outing, snapped a 5-game streak where they couldn't crack 22.
Barkley in, touchdown Eagles.
It would have been more worrisome had they only walked out with like 21, but they went 10 for 13 on third down. Jalen Hurts went from a 0 TD, 4 INT game the previous week to 12 for 15, 3 TD passes, no picks, over 11 yards per attempt, and a fat 154 rate.
4-man rush, so Hurts with time. There's A.J. Brown, first catch of the day for Brown.
Hurts only took 1 sack to Max Crosby. The Washington defense he tries to keep it going against, one of the easiest to look good against. 107 rate allowed for the year. Bottom of the barrel material. They gave up 240 plus yards to Jackson Dart, 2 TDs.
Fires to the end zone. It is caught. Tyrone Tracy.
They did pick Dart off once though, held him to a sub-90 rate, which for them made it kind of an odd day. They're one of the most points generous teams in the league, but held the Giants to 21, probably celebrated by going to Short Dog's house afterwards.
On fourth down, Dart fires to the end zone. Pass incomplete.
You know, to watch Yo MTV Raps since it was a good day. Held the Giants to 2 for 12 on third down. Only sacked Dart once, but Von Miller got it. His 7th of the year, has 1 in 3 of his last 4.
Von Miller gets around him and then gets just enough of Jackson Dart to bring him down for the sack.
Commanders secondary gave up 53 yards to Darius Slayton, 54 and a touchdown to Wan'Dale Robinson. Their corners have had trouble with wideouts all year. In the queue next, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. He scored with 41 yards versus Vegas.
27 yards. Frozen rope from Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown.
A.J. has painted the zone green 3 of his last 4 games, did snap his 100-plus yard game streak at 3. Him and Smith both sitting on 800-plus yards for the year. Devontae caught 2 passes for 50 yards versus the Silver and Black.
Play-action pass to begin this drive, and a deep shot. Smith, perfect throw from Hurts.
And Dallas Goedert faces the team that's giving up the second highest rating to tight ends since in 2025, so letting Theo Johnson get away for 72 yards last week fit. Maybe that means Goedert leads the way again. He scored twice a week ago, led the team in targets, his 2nd game in a row with 70-plus yards, too.
Shovel pass, already got a touchdown on this today, make it 2. Dallas Goedert high-stepping in.
And of course, there's Saquon. Barkley, a touchdown, 78 yards, week 15.
Stiff arm, get off me, he says.
3.5 yards per carry, dropped him to 3.9 for the year. Washington allowed Tyrone Tracy 70 yards on 4-7 a clip, gave up a TD to him, plus 63 rush yards allowed to Dart. And Hurts comes in off a 39-yard rush game. He's so plenty capable, even without any help from his friends.
Down. There it is, Jalen Hurts having one of his best rushing games of the season.
Philadelphia's defense also has to worry about a mobile quarterback. Marcus Mariota ran for 43 yards versus New York, also threw for 211, over 11 yards per attempt, no picks for a 109 rate.
Mariota fires downfield, and the catch is made by Noah Brown.
Still, Philadelphia's defense staring at an offense that only scratched out 21 points versus the G-men, just 3 for 11 on third down.
Pass is broken up.
That is beautiful defense.
Intended for McLaurin.
Washington shut out the week before. 7 of the last 8 games, fewer than 23 points. Lined up across from an Eagles defense that just served Vegas up a homer favorite.
Third down, bringing 4, getting pressure, getting another sack. There it is, Nolan Smith.
donuts. Not sure if they washed it down with the Duff beer, but they held Vegas to 3 for 12 on third down, didn't allow a single red zone trip, have held 3 of their last 6 opponents under 10 points. Dominated Kenny Pickett, held him to 64 yards, 2.6 per attempt, followed the directions on the back of his jersey once.
The all-pro linebacker picks off Pickett.
Held every Raiders pass catcher to less than 30 yards. Mariota took 2 sacks, just 19 pass attempts. Most he's taken is 2 in any start. Eagles pass rush buried Pickett 4 times. Brandon Graham with a pair.
Pickett is sacked again, and it's Brandon Graham again.
Their front had zero problem with Ashton Genty, 35 yards, 3.9 per carry. They get Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt off one of his best showings in a while, 96 yards, 5.3 a handoff and a score.
Into the end zone on cue, Krosky-Merritt.
When Mariota lets it fly, Terry McLaurin caught Mariota's TD pass, 69 yards.
It looks like that toe dragged, and he did get the completion.
And Deebo Samuel, 43 yards. He and McLaurin, 9 of the 16 pass catcher targets in last week's game.
As Mariota throws, it's Deebo Samuel in Giants territory.
These two have been going at it since 1934, only separated by 4 wins after all that time. Last time they met in last year's playoffs, lots of beef between the two. Remember the body bag game? Let us refresh your memory.
It was the Eagles' defense that hit everything in sight. The Eagles knocked 4 Redskins out of the game, but a key to a Buddy Ryan defense isn't crushing the body, but the mind. Something a defensive touchdown does most effectively.
Right side, put Ricky Sanders in motion. Back goes Rutledge, fires the football, intercepted. Brazil running with the football and in for a touchdown. William Brazil. So the defense scores first. The ball at the 31. Sanders goes in motion. Rutledge is back. He's hit. He fumbles. The Eagles are after it. Simmons has it at the 10, at the 5. Touchdown. Hopkins made
It was only a matter of time before Philadelphia came up with such a worthy performance.
Time to run it back. Division supremacy on the line again. Green Bay Packers on the road in Chicago. Lost more than a game in Denver last week.
Oh, Parsons is down.
That was non-contact, it looked like, too.
That loss, combined with the Bears taking care of their Brown business, has the Monsters of the Midway back in first in the NFC North.
On the roll, directing traffic to the end zone. He throws, and it's DJ Moore. Chicago cashes in immediately from 22.
These two just played the week before last, of course, in Green Bay. Pack took it 28-21 in a nail-biter. Jordan Love threw 3 touchdowns, 2 to Christian Watson. Josh Jacobs ran for 86 yards and a score. Packers defense held Caleb Williams to 186 yards, picked him off to seal the game.
Williams looking, throwing, it is intercepted! Keyshawn Nixon and the Packers will win it!
A lot has changed in a short period of time. Packers lost Watson in their loss to Denver, left with a chest injury, have to wait and see if he can go. Guard Zach Tom left the game with an injured knee. And of course, Micah is done for the year. Parsons didn't sack Caleb when they first met, but not having him to hurry Williams isn't going to help. And you can argue Caleb is coming off his best game of the year.
Now Williams, clean pocket over the middle with all day to throw. He finds Luther Burden breaking tackles.
Bears went for 31 points in frigid cold weather. Williams, 242 yards, hit on 60% of his throws, finally got out of the 50s. 2 TDs, no picks, a 112 rate, and plenty of his passes, real buttes, Clark.
Williams, end zone, DJ Moore, touchdown.
If he wants to go Jelly of the Month Club, become a gift that keeps on giving, needs to keep it going in what is easily the biggest game of his young career, and Green Bay's secondary is coming in feeling a little like Aunt Bethany. Gave up 302 yards, 4 TDs to Bo Nix, didn't pick him off, 8.9 yards per attempt for a hefty 134 rate.
Nix to the end zone. Franklin has it. Touchdown, Broncos.
Did I pass gas? He threw 34 times. They didn't sack him once, gave up 34 points, unable to stop them once on 4 red zone chances.
Nix throwing goal line, and it's a touchdown.
Their secondary gave up 42 yards and a TD to little Jordan Humphrey, 85 yards and a TD to Troy Franklin, 113 and a TD to Cortland Sutton. Now, back to DJ Moore, who they held to -4 yards. He looked better against an orange team, scoring twice, 69 yards.
Williams looking for more on the sideline with a toe tap and a first down.
63 yards on 4 catches for Colston Loveland.
To the sideline, open is Colston Loveland, the tight end rumbling into Cleveland territory.
And 84 yards from Luther Burden.
Here's Burden, nice spin, and a little juke, and Burden dancing his way out to the 33-yard line.
Will he play this week? He hurt his ankle, and Rome Odunze missed another game with a stress fracture in his foot. Doesn't sound like he's going to be back soon. They will have both their backs, though. Kyle Monungai, only 33 yards versus the Browns. DeAndre Swift, though, 98 yards, 5.4 a carry, 2 scores.
Swift struggling inside the 5, the high kick into the end zone for the touchdown.
He was effective versus Green Bay, too. 4.8 a pop, 63 yards. Pack played the run better last week, holding R.J. Harvey to 3.4 per attempt.
And Walker was not going to let Harvey get away.
Big time play.
As to their offense, 26 points after going for 28 versus Chicago. Solid stuff.
It's Jacobs with the catch. Oh my goodness. What a grab by the running back.
That is a touchdown.
Love threw for more than 270 yards, but they went 1 for 4 in the red zone, 4 field goals compared to just 2 TDs, and Love had 2 passes end up in the defense's hands, sub-70 rate.
Across the middle, intercepted. Love was trying to hit Dontavian Wicks.
Chicago secondary tried to work some things out versus Shedeur Sanders. Seems like it went well. They intercepted him 3 times without allowing a touchdown, held him to a lowly 30 rating.
For Cleveland, it's Sanders looking for Fannin, and it's picked again! C.J. Gardner-Johnson!
Defense held Cleveland to 3 points, 4 for 14 on 3rd down, only let them inside the 20 once.
Sanders on 1st down, deflected, and it's intercepted! DeMarco Jackson's got it!
And they sacked Sanders 5 times, most bags they've had in a game this year.
4-man rush. Pressure up the middle again. Sanders in trouble, and down he goes. Austin Booker with the sack.
Bears pressured Sanders 52.4% of his pass attempts. That's on par with making a down payment for a pool you can't afford. And get this, Love was pressured 52% of his 40 pass attempts, took 3 sacks versus the Broncos, was hit 15 times. You don't see that many quarterback hits very often.
2nd and 8, and a sack on this one.
Most understand, though, that was against a Denver defense that's found on the top shelf. Cleveland's offense akin to Cousin Eddie's RV, Green Bay and Chicago's Week 15 opponents as different as the Griswolds and Margot and Todd. We'll see if Chicago's corners have to chase Watson around. They will deal with Matthew Golden for sure. He had 55 yards versus the Broncos.
Goes to the near side, and Golden, the first rounder, pulls it in.
And why is the carpet all wet, Todd? Jaden Reed also checked out with double 5s through the air.
It's Reed, turns it upfield. Big gain for the Packers. Picks up 29.
Romeo Doubs, 36 yards. Dontavian Wicks, 6. Luke Musgrave racking up 52.
Here's Love's throw, wide open. Diving with the catch is Musgrave. And they get out of that pickle from inside the 5-yard line.
They could lean heavy on Jacobs, too. Bears defense held Quinshon Judkins in check, but they remain one of the easiest teams to run on. Jacobs fared well against them and didn't slow down versus the Broncos. 73 yards, 6.1 a carry, broke a 40-yarder.
No one near him, taken off. Jacobs to the end zone for his longest touchdown run of the season.
He also caught Love's only TD pass. Brought up the 2010 playoff game between these two in our last preview, a game Green Bay won. They've taken Chicago 26 of their last 31 games. Maybe if we show a Bears win over Green Bay, Chicago will win this week. Do we have that power? Let's test it. Sherman, take us to 1980 for the most lopsided game in the rivalry's history.
The Bears were awesome against Green Bay. For 3 decades, 30 first downs in a game was a club record. They made 33 against Green Bay. Vince Evans completed over 80% of his passes. Chicago scored 9 touchdowns. They scored more points than any Bear team in 15 years. If the Bears enjoyed a feast against Green Bay,
Welcome to the Woodstock Bowl. Not the kind Jimmy wailed at, more like the little yellow ones that lost their way. Arizona Cardinals at home on a 6-game losing streak.
No timeouts. Brissett will throw it. Completion, but short of the first down and a losing effort.
Blackbirds they host aren't singing into the dead of night. I don't know though, maybe the Atlanta Falcons were last Thursday night after sticking it to one of their rivals.
And the kick is just inside the left upright.
If you're here for a straightforward, buttoned-up preview of two teams who can't make the playoffs or finish with a 500 record, you're in the wrong place. These two have had anvils dropped on them, fallen off the edge of mountains chasing their prey, but we still watch Wiley anyway, right? And this matchup has a dude faster than a roadrunner.
To the outside, into the end zone. Bijan Robinson for the touchdown.
Bijan Robinson storming in off a big game in their win over Tampa. B-Rob has racked up 70-plus rush yards in 6 straight games after dropping 93 on the Bucs. Should crack 1,200 for the year when this one is over. And Robinson comes in off an 80-80 double-double. Caught 8 balls for 82 yards last week, too.
That are chasing him down, forget about it. I don't care who it is. One-on-one, you're not tackling Bijan Robinson.
Now Mr. Robinson goes after an Arizona defense that gave up 249 rush yards to the Rams week 14, then followed it up by giving up over 100 yards to Jawar Jordan, who had never played an NFL game before. Let him escape for a 50-yard run.
Nice move. Hit across midfield. Jawar Jordan.
Cardinals defense has given up 40-plus points back-to-back games, given up 40 burgers with cheese 4 times in their last 6 games.
Comes across on the shallow, and it's too easy. It's like stealing for the Texans.
Kirk O'Chains facing a secondary that gave up 3 touchdowns to C.J. Stroud, didn't pick him off, 260 yards, a 137 rate.
There's Nico Collins, and Nico Collins will glide into the end zone.
Cousins, coming in off a Captain Kirk-like showing, diced up the Bucs defense like they were tribbles in a barrel. 30 for 44, season-high 373 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He did not have trouble with them at all.
Juggle, in or out. Here comes the call.
After review, the ruling on the field stands as called touchdown.
He's a big fan of Pitts. Kyle enters with fire emojis, 80-plus yards last 3 straight, 11 catches, 12 targets last week, 166 yards, and a TD hat trick.
Over the middle, wide open, and there into the end zone goes Kyle Pitts.
Set up for another good one, too. Cardinals DBs gave up 76 yards and a touchdown to tight end Dalton Schultz. Also gave up 2 TDs and 85 yards to Nico Collins. I suppose Drake could pop back in. There's nothing to be scared of. Kenny's off to other things. But London's absence hasn't really slowed Atlanta's offense down anyway. 24-plus points, 5 of their last 6, after a 29-point night on TNF.
5 catches, 93 yards. Cousins going that way again. touchdown.
Darnell Mooney, 35 yards. David Sills, the Taj from Van Wilder. Young guy was like, oh man, I'm gonna score. But apparently there's too much oil on his hands and the chance slips past him, only to come back around and go for a season-high 78 yards.
He took a chance at the line of scrimmage. What a job by David Sills.
What should make this game so fun is maybe it's like 42-39. Jacoby Brissett out there chucking it on the regular against an Atlanta defense that's been giving it up more often than Quagmire at a margarita mixer. 27-plus points in 5 of their last 6 games, 28 to the Bucs. Let them convert all 3 red zone chances.
Here's the pass. Hold in. Chris Godwin.
Falcons pass rush should provide a few giggities, though. Brissett is sack prone. See what I mean? There's one right there. Brissett with 40 pass attempts versus Houston, only 2 sacks taken, not so bad, but has taken 2+ sacks in 8 of his last 9 games.
Will be Brissett, who's not done yet. Well, maybe on this, as he is sacked at midfield.
Atlanta, top 5 in bags for 2025, top 3 in blitz rate, cooked the Baker man up 5 times, most he's been burned in 1 game this season.
Mayfield stepping up, and he's going to try to step away, but can't go very far.
Their pass rush helped their secondary hold Mayfield to a 90 rating, right around how they've played most quarterbacks this season. They picked him off to turn the game in their favor.
Pass to the outside is going to be picked off by D. Alford.
Brissett has thrown 40-plus times in 6 straight games. He's thrown for 2+ touchdowns in 8 of his last 9, 3 versus Houston, 249 yards.
Up for a moment, and that pass is caught right on target to Trey McBride.
The 2 guys he's been leaning on a lot, Michael Wilson and tight end Trey McBride, now passed a K in yards for the year, racked 134 versus Houston, scored twice, added 12 more catches, has over 100 for the season, leads the NFL.
And to the end zone and in Trey McBride with a touchdown for the Cardinals.
Atlanta's DBs didn't struggle with a tight end, didn't face one like McBride. They gave up over 130 yards to Mike Evans, though. Wilson up next, has a shot to reach a G as well, scored 54 yards last week.
For the end zone, turning around, did he hang on? He's got a touchdown, Cardinals!
Brissett plus McBride plus Wilson produced big fantasy points last week, but once again, didn't produce many on the gridiron. 20 versus Houston, Arizona's 3rd straight with less than 21 points, less than 24 points, 6 of their last 8.
It's on the return for Arizona, and Brooks, the ball's in the air, and the Texans have it!
Cardinals haven't been running much. Michael Carter, 56 yards in their latest loss. Team only ran for 72 yards total. Atlanta hasn't fared great versus the run overall, but did play Bucky Irving tough last week, holding him to 3.8 a carry, just 60 yards. Anyone watching on YouTube right now has probably seen 17, 18 ads, which is less than the number of times that Atlanta was flagged last week, and that says a lot. They won the game despite being hit with 19 penalties for 125 yards. No Falcons team in history of mankind has seen that much laundry in 1 game.
On the ground, and you got a flag before the inception of the play.
Red Sea up 2 on Rise Up all time, but how about give us some more of that 1995 action?
Really disappointing defeat for whichever team drops this one.
Seth Joyner put the Cardinals in position to pull off a fantastic finish.
Steps up in the pocket, intercepted!
That's the one thing about this defense that's so exciting. They fake play. You know, a lot of people think that this team has given up. I'll tell you what, that defense has not given up.
Arizona could win on the last play of regulation.
The snap, the set, the kick is on its way, and the kick is no good. The kick is no good. It looked like it was short.
3rd home game in a row, the Cardinals were headed for overtime. But this time, sudden death ended quickly.
Brzezinski bobbles the ball. Now he's got to get away. It's loose on the ground. It's a fumble, and the Cardinals are going to get it. The Cardinals are going to get the football at the 9-yard line. 1st and goal.
Now it's time.
Kicker Greg Davis atoned for his previous miss.
Set, kick is up. It is good, and the Cardinals have won it.
This ball game is over.
What a game for these fans to witness today.
Cincinnati Bengals on the road Week 16, now playing 2025 out after eating a donut versus Baltimore last week.
So they stop him on 4th down, and that will officially turn out the lights on the Cincinnati Bengals.
Miami Dolphins also on the outs after their faint hopes were dashed at the hands of the Steelers on Monday night.
And the Dolphins, as far as playoff hopes are concerned, they're finished.
Fins do have some incentive to finish strong. A 9-8 record is still attainable. They'd trip a couple of teams up along the way if they pulled it off, though the Bengals aren't one of them. But tip your cap to Joe Burrow, dude gets it. If I'm not having fun making millions playing a game, then what am I doing? Now, doesn't mean he's doing cartwheels when he loses and gets shut out like he did last week while throwing 2 INTs.
Burrow again kind of stumbles, and he's intercepted. Picked off by Van Noy.
That's back-to-back games he's thrown 2 interceptions. He's the proud type, so you know he'd like to finish the year strong. He's made 5 starts, is sitting on an 84 rate, so let's see if he can bring it up to 90 by the time the year is over. First step, play well versus a Miami defense that had been pretty Scrooge-like with the points as of late until Pittsburgh showed up anyway.
Got it to DK Metcalf. And fighting his way for the touchdown.
Guess Christmas was close enough. They decided to loosen their purse strings, gave out 28 points to the Steelers. Secondary gave up a 125 rate to Aaron Rodgers via 23 of 27 passing and 2 TDs without picking him off. They're allowing a 102 rate for 2025 along with the highest completion percentage allowed.
Rodgers end zone's got his man. Touchdown, Marquez.
They let DK Metcalf get away for a touchdown and 55 yards. Now they have Jamar Chase on their hands. Chase caught 10 passes for 132 yards last week, over 1,100 for the year now.
On 2nd and 7, Burrow steps up in the pocket. Burrow completes. Chase.
Chase Brown caught 7 passes in that loss, ran for 53 yards. He has plenty of incentive to call for the rock down low, has 780 rush yards for 2025, hasn't ever had a 1,000-yard year.
Burrow goes to Brown out of the backfield, the dual threat back for this offense.
He gets a Miami front that just gave up 80 yards on 6-2 an attempt to Kenneth Gainwell.
Finds a little room over the right side. Survived a hit.
Miami linebacker Jordan Brooks would welcome plenty of Brown action. He made 13 tackles last week. He leads the entire NFL in tackles and solo tackles after 15 weeks.
And he's brought down with a loss on the play of 1 as Jordan Brooks made the stop.
And believe it or not, Cincinnati's defense also has a league leader trying to hold on to first place. For as bad as they've been on that side of the ball, cornerback DJ Turner leads the NFL in passes defensed with 17.
Bengals rush 4. Jackson delivers a strike as he gets it to his start tight end.
He's kind of been the lone bright spot for that defense. Burrow and Jamar squaring off with a secondary giving up a 104 rate, only 4 teams worse, only 1 team giving up more yards per attempt, and they give out points like candy, 31 a game behind Dallas by a full point at this stage.
That is a great job of knowing what the defense is in, finding the matchup, and getting that big play.
So they wouldn't mind not going down as the worst defense of 2025 if possible. If you go by last week, maybe they can make a little headway. Dolphins only mustered 15 points.
This one is nearly picked as Highsmith was there.
But here's the thing. Their offense has been ping-ponging for weeks now between showing up and shorting out. From week 16 to present, 27 points, then to 6, 34, then 6, then 30, then 16, then 21, then 34, then 15 last week. So in theory, they're in line for a better output, which would make sense with that Bengals defense up next. And Tua comes off a solid outing. Tagovailoa threw a bad pick early versus Pittsburgh, but he finished with 2 TDs, a 113 rate, with over 250 yards.
Another one to the end zone and a jump ball that's caught by Waller for the touchdown.
Hit Darren Waller for both his touchdowns. Waller has 6 now. Maybe a little comeback player of the year award candidate.
Darren Waller's an interesting guy. The guy who retired, he was sitting out last year and decided to come back.
Or does that automatically just go to Grandpa Rivers now? And then there's Devon Achane, another one of the league leaders we have in this matchup. 67 receiving yards last week, 60 on the ground at 5 a pop. He quietly has taken over first in yards per carry for 2025.
Is just running around. He finds Achane, who takes it back into the field to play. And
he's lined up to hold on to first, too. Cincinnati gave up 100 yards to Derrick Henry on 9 a carry, 66 yards to Keaton Mitchell on 8.3 per. They are one of 4 teams allowing over 5 a run for the year. No team giving up more yards per game.
On downs, pitch play here. Henry has some running room. Henry, first down and more.
Finns up on the Bengals by 10 overall. Met in the playoffs once, 1973 divisional round.
Next came the AFC Championship and the confident Oakland Raiders. In September, the Dolphins had lost in Oakland. Now they would establish their dominance with a game-opening 80-yard drive. Tennessee Titans' one-game win streak is over. They're at home this week, taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, whose dynasty run seems to have come to one of the most emphatic ends you'll ever see.
And Minshew to the air, and deep, and intercepted! It's picked off!
Who knows if it's really over, but Chapter 1 at least seems to be in the books. But let's thumbnail what's worth paying attention to in this game. Cam Ward, kind of Tony Pollard, and Mrs. Swift's chances of bowing out off a G-shot. You see, knowing what your player's personal goals might be and what your current draft slot is with 3 to play is what the other half does most years at this time of the year, Chiefs Empire. You're like Dan Aykroyd. You've been living on the hog, but now you get to see what life is like for Eddie Murphy.
Polay with the block, and here's the pass, and it was picked off. Henley got the ball!
No more 3-course Mahomes meals. Chiefs fans left Arrowhead last week or turned off the TV and thought, well, so-and-so was already mad at me for saying we needed to be done with Christmas by kickoff, so now I'm good. You get Uncle Rico as you ride it out. Gardner Minshew is fun. He did get picked off trying to lead a last-minute comeback off the bench.
To seal the win for the Chargers and seal the fate of the Chiefs this season.
Maybe he can throw it over a mountain versus Tennessee's secondary, though. Gave up 3 touchdowns to Brock Purdy, 295 yards, a 140 rate. Tennessee let San Francisco score 37 points. They aren't 2-12 by accident.
Pumps and throws, and it is caught for the touchdown by Jennings.
Titans fans don't really care about their defense at this point, though. Great, we held CMC to 3.3 a carry, sacked Purdy 2 times. If Minshew wants to go state, great. Wants to throw the pigskin a quarter mile, great. Wants to help the most famous groupie get to 1,000 yards before he learns how to be the most famous roadie ever, great. Travis Kelce added 70 yards in their loss to the Chargers, needs 203 to hit 1,000 for the year.
Up goes Mahomes, and that is caught. Kelce, first down and more.
Tighten Up doesn't care. They only really care about how Cam Ward finishes the season. They don't really care they lost to San Francisco last week. What they cared about is Ward left the loss with a 100-plus rate the first game in his career he's done so, because he didn't throw a pick, 2 touchdowns.
And downfield, it's caught by Helm, seemingly held on, and broke the plane for a touchdown.
Ward was so used to having his face in the grass, he stopped noticing the effect. They say you need to take a break to feel it again. So he took last week off, not a single sack taken. 49ers pass rush, the worst in the NFL though. Kansas City's isn't great, but they sacked Justin Herbert 4 times. Their secondary picked him off, held him to a sub-90 rate, held the Chargers to 16 points.
And right on the screws, but fumbled away by Harris. Is that a light ball?
Chiefs have the 3rd highest blitz rate this year, so Ward has to be able to handle heat. It was too much for Robert De Niro, underrated classic. Ward, a 69 rate versus 5+, almost as bad as Robert going back for the girl.
Watch Cam Ward as he starts to go and, again, extend the play, but now this isn't college.
Pollard, he gets a chance for his 4th straight 1,000-yard year. Kind of a Herculean effort if he does it in 2025. Back-to-back weeks with 100-plus yards, 104 on only 14 attempts versus San Francisco, plus a score.
It'll be a handoff for Pollard, and he rumbles in for the touchdown.
Kansas City is tough on running backs, holding them to 4.1 a carry, average is 4.3. By my estimation, only 47 ads have run in this preview on YouTube. That's probably a modern-day record. Let's try and get out of here before we hit 50. Dang it, I bet 4 more just ran. These guys are old AFL pals. 1962, Dallas Texans, Houston Oilers, AFL championship, took 2 overtimes to settle.
6-8 season in 1961, Hank Stram's Texans ran through the AFL. In 1962, the disparity between these two franchises was on full display. The Cowboys won only 5 games, and while they were home for the holidays, the Texans were in the 1962 AFL title game.
The big rush is on, the kick is up, the kick is good! Dallas is the champion! They had to go into the second overtime period to win it.
Time for the Frosted Tips Bowl. Man, I wish my dew looked like theirs. New York Giants at home Week 16, sitting on the #1 pick in the 2026 draft, hosting the Minnesota Vikings, who have won 2 straight to give them a shot at getting out of 2025 with more wins than losses.
The Aubrey kick, smothered and then finally secured to close it out.
Sure, Minnesota gets Detroit and Green Bay after this one, but why not? Not many gave the Vikes a chance to beat Dallas, and look what happened. 34 points, 2nd week in a row, they've gone for 30+.
McCarthy on the boot, throwing it towards the end zone. Hard held on to.
More importantly to Skull Nation, the play of J.J. McCarthy, who's finally been looking the part of top 10 pick. 2nd game in a row, he's put up a 100+ rate, 2 touchdowns versus the Cowboys, and a season high 250 yards.
Late pass looking for Hawkinson, the other tight end, and he brought it in.
Sure, that was against the Alice Cowboys, and the week prior, it was against Washington, who also is very generous to quarterbacks, but how about 3 100+ rate type games in a row? Giants secondary gave up a 109 rate to Marcus Mariota in their latest loss, 211 yards on 11 per attempt, didn't pick him off.
51-yard connection. Commanders now lead by 15.
It's not like that was a fluke either. Giants defense hasn't been super strong versus most quarterbacks this season, but they did hold Washington's offense to 23 points. 6 came via special teams. Team that allowed 24+ points, their previous 7 straight. It was the kind of day they might have ended with a fat burger at 2 a.m.
6 for Mariota, and the Commanders hit from behind, spun around, Abdul Carter.
Not sure if they saw the lights on the Goodyear blimp, but they held Washington to 3 for 11 on third down, only one red zone trip allowed. They sacked Mariota 2 times on just 19 chances. McCarthy, 0 sacks taken on 24 pass attempts versus the boys. Didn't lead to much of anything for Justin Jefferson, unfortunately. 22 yards, and he saw a team-high 8 targets, 11 yards the week before, 4 the week prior. Quite the run he's on.
10 for J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings. To the end zone for Jefferson. Nothing doing again.
Jalen Naylor scored twice versus Dallas, 47 yards.
McCarthy to the end zone. Touchdown, Jalen Naylor.
Jordan Addison, 66 yards a week ago.
You have Jordan Addison just completely zipped them. They cleared the free safety out.
And TJ Hawkinson with 66 as well.
I tell you, I think I might be throwing to the tight end more. The last couple of weeks, he's been brilliant.
Not much from Minnesota's run game last week. Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason held in check. But now to Johnny Lawrence number 2. Jackson Dart threw for 246 yards last week, 2 TDs.
As Dart finds his man downfield, it's Theo Johnson.
Dart with 13 touchdowns against 4 INTs in his 9 starts, and he ran for 63 yards versus Washington, hit 400 for the year.
The 28-yard run, his longest of the season.
Now he gets to test his skills out against the defense with the highest blitz percentage in the game. Dart has a 92 rating overall, a 105 rate versus 5+ pass rushers, so he's fared well versus Minnesota's specialty. Only took 1 sack to the Commanders on 36 pass attempts. Vikings got to Dak Prescott twice on 38 chances, but they hit him 11 times, held him without any touchdowns, and to a sub-90 rating.
Is Dak getting hit as the ball comes out? Vikings going to pick it up, and it's called incomplete.
Gave up 26 points, 2 TDs, 4 field goals. Second time in their last 3 games they gave up 26, both to high-scoring offenses. A shutout in between, and despite Dart's play versus Washington, they only cobbled together 21 points.
2nd down and 4. Dart throws, and it's picked off.
That's fewer than 22 points in 4 of their last 5. Did get 53 yards from Darius Slayton, and Washington was unable to cut off his Johnson. Theo gave him 72 to lead the team.
Now Dart lobs one up, and it's the tight end Theo Johnson.
What do you need your Johnson for, dude? Wan'Dale Robinson, 54 yards and a score, now up to 882 for 2025.
Pressure, throws, end zone, touchdown!
Dart was aided down low by Tyrone Tracy, too, who clicked for 70 yards on 4.7 per attempt, punched one in.
Tyrone Tracy sees a hole, breaks a few tackles, gets in for a much-needed touchdown.
Vikings gave up 91 yards and a TD to Javonte Williams on 6-1 a carry, so maybe Tracy can put up back-to-back good games.
Good run here, Williams. Across the 40 to the 42-yard line, 15 yards there.
This one is for @Lil Baby born in California. Vikings have taken New York 5 of their last 6 meetings, have faced off 4 times in the playoffs. Their 1997 wild card game had everyone on the edge of their seats all the way to the end.
Started off on the wrong foot in the wild card round of the NFL playoffs. With under 2 minutes to play, the Vikings still trailed by 9. What happened next would be remembered as one of the greatest finishes in the history of the NFL playoffs.
Cunningham steps up in the pocket, throws on the run. Touchdown, Vikings!
A big touchdown pass. The catalyst for the biggest postseason comeback ever for the Minnesota Vikings.
Cunningham backs and throws. Catch by Carter down the middle of the 40. Tackle to the 34-yard line. He held on.
I mean, the Vikings are going to have a chance with a field goal attempt to win this game. But boy, nothing's over till it's over. It's been hard work all day long for the Vikings. I'll give them credit for true grit here. I thought they had a fork in them about 5 minutes ago.
Silence! Huh? Where you at now? Come on! What I hear silence! Here it comes for the win. Eddie Murray eyes the field goal. It's a 23-yarder. The kick by Murray is up, but it's gone. And the Vikings, with 10 seconds to go, they go up 23-22.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Cleveland Browns fans, how sweet would it be to see Miles break the record in 15 games at home against Josh Allen, no less? That's the number one thing the Dog Pound has their eyes on at this point, right? A little Shador out of the corner of their eyes, maybe. Buffalo Bills in town, they are back within a game of the New England Patriots in the AFC East after taking said team down in a classic.
And he takes it in for the touchdown. A silencer. What a game.
Okay, statement made. Not conceding anything. Game behind the Patriots for the division, have won 3 straight, 4 of their last 5. New England has Baltimore this week. Mafia, a 3-win team in front of them. Let's see where they stand after this week. Josh Allen hit New England's big, bad, tough defense with 3 touchdowns. A 123 rate. Seems a lot easier to throw the rock after changing the diaper of an innocent 6-pound soul, right?
Josh Allen, as usual, money in the bank.
Allen found Dawson Knox twice for touchdowns.
Allen faked the handoff, the roll and toss. Knox, touchdown, Bills.
Only 37 yards, but 34 to Dalton Kincaid. Khalil Shakir led the team with 65.
Hooks a pass, and it's a battle with a flag down, Shakir.
That's back-to-back 3 TD games for Allen as a passer. Buffalo's offense, 5 touchdowns versus New England, 5 for 6 in the red zone.
Allen will throw, catch made by Cook, and he waltzes in for the touchdown.
Allen ran for 48 yards, too, so he was doing Josh Allen things. And James was cooking again. 2 touchdowns, 107 yards.
Cook trying to extend it. Touchdown stands. We've got a whole new ball game.
That's 100-plus yards in 3 of his last 4, so he's not tiring down one bit. Browns defense gave up 31 points to Chicago last week, holding teams to 23 prior. Cook is working with the Browns D that gave up 98 yards on 5.4 a carry to DeAndre Swift. Allen looking at a secondary that gave up 240-plus yards and 2 TDs to Caleb Williams, a 112 rate.
Look at the defenders from the Browns. Well, they're right there, and he gets it right into the hands of DJ Moore.
But the only thing that matters to Cleveland fans is Mr. Garrett. Picked up 1.5 sacks versus the Bears, now at 21.5 after 14 games.
We've seen him defeat chips, double teams, triple teams. Myles Garrett has arrived.
I'm a big games played guy. This will be Garrett's 15th game, so I hope he breaks it this week since TJ did 22.5 and 15. He's on an 8-game sack streak, so odds are good. Allen took 2 sacks last week, one to a Garrett-like character in Harold Landry.
2nd and 9, steps up, and Allen gets hit from behind. Harold Landry the third.
Josh has taken 2+ sacks in 9 of his 14 outings this year. Allen's counterpart this week took 5 sacks last week. Shador Sanders passed the ball 35 times, only completed 18 for 177 yards, a pathetic 30 rating because he didn't throw a touchdown and got picked off 3 times. Cleveland's offense, 3 points.
For Cleveland, it's Sanders looking for Fannin, and it's picked again! 3rd of the day!
And now he faces a secondary that played Drake. He could be MVP May, better than anyone has all year. Held him to 155 yards, no touchdowns, a season-low 62 rating. Sacked him 3 times on just 23 pass attempts.
Has time, now he does it. May, brought down by Milano!
Bills gave up 31 points because they couldn't stop the run. 2 touchdowns allowed to May plus 43 yards, 50 yards on 8-3 a pop to Ramondre Stevenson, and 148 and 2 TDs given up to Travion Henderson.
Bounces away, and Henderson is off to the races! Touchdown, goodbye!
So hit him with some Quinshawn. Judkins, 12 attempts versus Chicago, 21 yards. Under 2 per carry back-to-back games, under 3.6, 8 of his last 9. Sanders did hit on a couple nice throws, 2 long connections with Isaiah Bond for 89 yards.
Sanders looking deep. He's got Bond out there, drops it in!
And Sanders really likes Harold Fannin. Threw at him 14 times versus the Bears, 7 catches, 48 yards.
Sanders, pressure again. Sanders throws, and it's Fannin who plucks it.
Browns up 3 over the Bills all time, 13-10. Met in the playoffs once, 1989 season. Gem of a game, too.
Against the Bills, right from the start, it was apparent this was to be a game of big plays. With Bernie Kosar the trigger man, the game was a high-scoring aerial explosion.
Left side, Slaughter is open, comes in, got the ball at the 15.
Kosar produced 3 touchdown passes in a playoff for the 3rd consecutive year. 2 of them were bombs to Webster Slaughter. But Buffalo's Jim Kelly matched Kosar in a duel of ex-Kane quarterbacks, and the game quickly came down to the final seconds.
The entire season would come down to this play. Kelly fires over the middle, it's intercepted by Clay Matthews. The Browns are going to win.
What a matchup. Could very well see each other again down the road. Jacksonville Jaguars head to the Mile High City on a 5-game win streak. Offense looking as good as it has all year, which says something.
Etienne inside the 40, high stepping inside the 35, makes a man miss at the 33, along the sidelines, into the end zone!
They get the hottest team in all of the NFL, Denver Broncos at home, win streak now at 11.
On a 2nd and 15, Nix to the end zone, Franklin has it, touchdown Broncos!
A shame this isn't in a slot for everyone to see. Look what we're getting here. Bo Nix coming off a 4 TD game, no picks, 302 yards, a 134 rate.
There's the legs, go. Gonna throw it instead. He's gonna make the connection with Bandy in the end zone for the touchdown.
That was Nick's wake-up game. It had been a while since he really lit it up. Trevor Lawrence's Week 15 showing, on the other hand, an extension of a recent trend he'd love to keep going. But holy mother of pearl, Trev, 330 yards, over 10 yards per attempt, no interceptions, a 136 rate. What else? Oh yeah, he put 5 on it to the Jets through the air.
They throw it to the back of the end zone, caught, touchdown, Jags.
That is a quarterback playing with a lot of confidence right now.
But wait, there's more. Onyx and Loonies, someone needs to drive T-Law to the game this week. He cracked a TD 6er last week, scored along the ground with 51 rush yards.
Lawrence can run for a little bit. Lawrence can run for a score.
Lawrence propelling Jacksonville to a season-high 48 points. But it wasn't just a Jets thing. They've now scored 25-plus points, 7 straight games.
Pass is complete, Etienne. Into the end zone, touchdown, Jaguars.
Now here comes the big test, Denver's defense. They held Jordan Love to a 68 rating, the first team this year to pick him off twice.
And stepping in front is Surtain with the pick.
They're one of 5 teams holding quarterbacks to a sub-80 rate for the year, and only the Grinch has bagged it up more often than they have in 2025, wrapped up Love 3 times.
Love going down for the first time today.
Lawrence, back-to-back games with 0 sacks taken. It'll be a real challenge to make it 3 straight. 4 different Jags pass catchers come in off 50-plus yard games. Parker Washington, 53 versus New York.
And it's caught! Inside the 20-yard line, Parker Washington.
Brian Thomas, 66 and a score.
Looking long, pass is complete inside the 25-yard line to Brian Thomas.
Jacoby Jelly of the Month Club, Myers, 71 yards.
Throwing, and he completes another one to Myers. Jacoby Myers takes a hit, and he's down at the 12-yard line.
The gift that keeps on giving has left his mark in all 6 games since being traded, and Travis Etienne, the pass catcher, a TD hat trick versus New York, 73 receiving yards.
And an Etienne with the diving grab, touchdown Jaguars.
didn't do much on the ground, luckily wasn't needed. And lucky for Denver's defense, their offense was okay, with them giving up 26 points to Green Bay. They gave up 270-plus yards to Love in the end, 50-plus yards allowed to 3 different receivers, 73 yards on 6.1 a carry to Josh Jacobs, plus 2 TDs, 1 rushing, 1 receiving.
Taken off! Jacobs to the end zone.
Broncos have allowed 26 points in 2 of their last 3, 8 more than their season average. Obviously, they won both those games because their offense has put up 24-plus points in 3 straight. 34 versus Green Bay, their second highest output of the year.
Toss. Harvey looking for his 10th touchdown of his rookie year. R.J. Harvey.
Nix gets to see what the Jags' top 10 scoring defenses like next. Held New York to 20 points, holding teams to 20 a game for the year, so not just a Jets thing here either. Held Brady Cook to 176 yards and a 52 rating by picking him off 3 times. They have the second most takeaways for 2025, second most INTs.
And Cook is picked off on the outside. Antonio Johnson went right on top of the receiver.
Nix wasn't sacked once, 34 pass attempts, only 3 sacks taken in a game in 1 game. Jags dropped Cook 3 times, got their season average up to 2 sacks per game, so it was a good day of work for their front.
And he's tripped up behind the line of scrimmage. Dennis Gardick makes the tackle.
Their secondary gave up 53 yards to Isaiah Williams, 58 yards and a TD to Adonai Mitchell. Bulk of Nix's Week 15 action went to Marvin Mims, 29 yards, Little Jordan Humphrey, 42 yards and a TD.
Nix throwing goal line, and it's a touchdown. Little Jordan Humphrey.
He's not so little now.
He's coming up big.
Sorry, Lil. Troy Franklin, 85 yards and a score.
Rolling out and now throws it to Franklin, his old Oregon teammate. Oh, that was a little deception.
And the WR1 Cortland Sutton, 113 and a paint job, second 100-yard game of the year.
Are the feet down? Yes! Touchdown Broncos! Sutton hauls it in.
Jags defense did give up 130 rush yards to the Jets, 39 yards to Cook. Remember, Bo can run. 58 yards on 6.4 a carry and a touchdown to Isaiah Davis. R.J. Harvey, the back in their sights in this game, 65 yards and a TD a week ago, 3-game scoring streak.
Harvey looking for his 10th touchdown of his rookie year. R.J. Harvey.
Broncos up 1 over the Jags in their history. Met in the playoffs 2 straight years. Their 1996 divisional, the first of the 2. What a game.
But the complexion of the game changed once the Jaguars got their balance. And Natron Means got his hands on the ball. With Means carrying the load, the Jaguars netted 2 field goals and a touchdown, and a 13-12 halftime lead. For the second time in 2 weeks, Jacksonville's band of homewreckers came into an opponent's house and took it down. One big play at a time.
Downfield looking for Keenan in the end zone. Leaps, makes the catch. Touchdown Jaguars!
Facing 3rd and 5 at the Denver 16 with 3:44 to play, the Jaguars made a dramatic final statement.
Championship teams make championship plays.
And it was one from the heart.
Throw everything out the window at 3:44 on the clock, and it's the biggest play of the game for the Jaguars to this 3rd down play. Brian, if they can't convert, the clock's just going to keep going, and they'll be at the mercy of Elway. Mark at the line of scrimmage. Takes the count, takes the snap, turns, looking for Jimmy in the end zone. Touchdown Jaguars! Touchdown Jaguars! Jaguars have done the improbable. Nobody gave them a shot last week. Nobody gave them a shot this week.
Dallas Cowboys at home this week trying to get back to 500. They aren't dead yet, but it won't take much more to get tossed onto the cart with the old guy.
McCarthy to the end zone. Touchdown, Jalen Naylor.
The Chargers are in town. LA, the type of team that could hit them in the head with a club, just put the final nail in the coffin that holds the KC Dynasty 10-win team on a 3-game winning streak.
And to the end zone, caught Touchdown! Grabbed on the play by Lambert Smith.
Chargers may have a banged-up quarterback, a banged-up offensive line, but that defense of theirs, to use the parlance of our times, is just a banger. Held KC to 13 points, third straight team they've held under 20 points, and they've held 6 of their last 7 under 21.
3rd and 10. Godric a block. Here comes Owe. Down goes Mahomes.
Not only did they knock out Patrick Mahomes for the year, they picked him off, no TDs allowed, held him to a 62 rating before he left, and then came up with another pick of Uncle Rico to seal the win.
Intercepted, and the Chargers are going to win and knock the Chiefs out of the playoffs.
So Dak Prescott facing the secondary, holding quarterbacks to the lowest rate in the NFL. They have 17 INTs against 12 touchdowns. Dak didn't throw any TDs last week, a sub-90 rate. No INTs though, so no worries about whether they were his fault or not. And he did throw for 294 yards.
Prescott, middle shot, CeeDee Lamb. Yards coming easily there. It's a gain of 30.
Some Cowboys fans last week calling out last week's preview, thinking his 2 INTs the week prior were blamed on him. For the record, no one said they were his fault, just said he was intercepted twice and left with a sub-80 rate as a result. Proof I'm not AI if nothing else, and I'm not anti-Dak either. Cowboys offense still generated 26 points in their loss to Minnesota, 24 or more points in 5 straight.
Williams inside, into the end zone for a Cowboys touchdown.
2 for 12 on 3rd down didn't help matters, and trying 6 field goals while only scoring 2 TDs didn't either. Prescott threw 38 times, only took 2 sacks, that comes with the territory. Gets a Chargers pass rush off a 5-bag outing. 1 from Khalil Mack. Don't expect any Christmas gifts from John this year, Jim. He already gave you one. 2 sacks from Odafe Owe, has 7 in 9 games. And Tuli Tuipulotu with 2, giving him 12 on the year.
Brought down from behind, and Tuipulotu gets his 11th sack of the season.
Their secondary gave up 47 yards to Tyquan Thornton, 51 to Rashee Rice, though it was on 11 targets, 70 yards to Taylor Swift's future roadie. Dallas's tight end Jake Ferguson, only 16 yards versus Minnesota. George Pickens, only 33. Ryan Flanoy with 40. CeeDee Lamb, the lead man, 111, 3rd straight 100-plus yard game.
Complete on 4th down. Dak and CD connect, and the drive keeps going.
The other Cowboy to show out in that loss, Javonte Williams, 91 rush yards, 6-1 a carry plus a score.
Helping pave the way for Javonte Williams. Big run as he gets thrown down.
Chargers defense hasn't been great versus running backs, but didn't have issues with a few Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco handoffs they faced last week. Their defensive play ended up being enough for the win, despite their offense only scratching out 16 points.
3-man rush, Herbert on the move, the pump fake, almost lost it, and 4th and goal.
That's fewer than 23 points in 3 of their last 4, only made it inside the 20 twice versus Kansas City, just 5 for 14 on 3rd down. Justin Herbert taking 4 more sacks. He's now the QB grass expert of 2025. No one's face has been in it more than his has.
Fake and grabbed! Gelati got him again!
He's hurt, and his line is made up of several B-listers. He went for 210 yards, 1 TD, got picked off, a sub-90 rate, has only topped a 91 rate once in his last 4 games.
Hit as he throws, intercepted, and picked off on the play, Gelati!
Don't get it twisted, as they say. He's playing warrior ball. Just hard to produce big numbers with the injury issues. But maybe the Dallas Cowboys can help. Arguably the league's worst secondary gave up a career-high 250 yards to J.J. McCarthy last week, 2 TDs, a 100-plus rate.
Throwing it towards the end zone. Hard held on to. Jalen Naylor.
Chargers points struggling offense, getting a shot at a Cowboys defense that's given up 28-plus points in 3 straight games, 34 allowed to Minnesota.
McCarthy, the keeper, the walk-in.
Dallas did hold Minnesota to 2 for 9 on 3rd down, but let them convert 3 times on 4th down. They didn't sack McCarthy once on 24 pass attempts, gave up 66 yards to TJ Hawkinson and Jordan Addison, 2 TDs allowed to Jalen Naylor, held Justin Jefferson to 22 2 yards on 8 targets at least. Herbert's Week 15 balls spread to 8 guys. Ladd McConkey only 20 yards. Keenan Allen 36. Trey Harris had 49.
And the pass caught. Harris caught the ball.
And tight end Oronde Gadsden led the team with 61.
Sets up. Here comes Karlaftis. There goes the ball. Caught. Inside the 5, what a grab made Gadsden.
Run game, Kamani Vidal, 33 yards, 2.8 yards per carry, less than 45 yards back-to-back weeks, in part because Omarion Hampton has been back. He led them with 61 yards, 4-1 a try.
For Hampton, and Salyer's block opens the door, and Hampton.
Cowboys have also struggled versus running backs this season, among all their other issues on defense, but they did hold Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason under 3 per attempt last week. The Stars and the Bolts have only met 13 times, boys up 3, first played in 1972, and put on quite the show.
Sellers at 6'4" and 188 pounds is rail thin but lethal. A legitimate game breaker who caught 5 touchdowns in 1972. Montgomery returned home to San Diego the next week, and his recovery of a fumble punt signaled a 34-28 victory.
Here we are again for the second time this season. We are treated to the lowest scoring offense in the league, this week dressed as the Las Vegas Raiders, taking on the #1 scoring defense, the Houston Texans, who also happen to be on a 6-game win streak.
How about that? Bang, 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 just like that to get things going here in Houston.
Part of me wants to go, the team with the #1 defense has beat the team with the worst scoring offense 17 straight times when they've met this late into the year, and call it there so we can get out of here after only seeing 15 ads on YouTube.
To throw, and for the end zone, intercepted. It's Kamari Lassiter.
I know in theory it's all part of how I get paid, but sheesh, man, I don't have premium either, so I get it. The Raiders are not only a 2-win team, but they were just shut out last week.
Holds the Raiders to 72 yards. That's the fewest yards by the Raiders in a game since 1961.
Man, that Raiders-Giants Week 17 tilt could be something special. Vegas's rush attack has been non-existent most games, and without Geno Smith back there last week, they threw for a net 29 yards because Kenny Pickett took 4 sacks for 35 yards and only mustered 64 when upright. A measly 2.6 yards per attempt, no TDs, 1 pick. I think we can blame Geno for all that, though.
The all-pro linebacker picks off Pickett. And that's how the second half begins for the Raiders offense.
It is also Geno's fault I gained a few pounds this holiday season, for what it's worth. Houston hasn't allowed anyone to hit 21 points in their last 5 straight. Held another also ran the Arizona Cardinals to 20 points.
That is Houston Texans defense. Danico Autry with the big-time play.
Raiders have taken the most sacks in the league at 54. Texans have 2 guys in the top 10 in sacks. Will Anderson with 10.5. Daniil hunted down his 12th last week, sits in 5th, but only 1 out of 2nd.
This dude in his 11th year he doesn't slow down.
Their secondary has played the pass at elite levels all year. They did give up 3 TDs to Jacoby Brissett last week, though, 249 yards, 134 of those to Trey McBride, 2 scores.
Brissett will have a moment, throws, touchdown, Trey McBride.
That's noteworthy because Vegas has Brock Bowers. They just need someone that knows how to get him the ball. And it's also worth noting, this is the second time Houston has faced the 32nd ranked scoring offense this year. Week 11, Tennessee was bottom of the barrel, and Houston only won the game 16-13. Texans offense has struggled to come up with digits in a lot of their games, fewer than 24 in 4 of their last 5, for example. The one exception, though, last week when they hung up 40 points over the chimney.
When things are going right, They're going right.
C.J. Stroud enters off his second best outing of 2025, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 260 yards, 22 of 29 passing for a 137 rating.
Stroud well protected, and there's Nico Collins. And Nico Collins will glide into the end zone. An opening drive Texan touchdown.
Stroud had put up sub-90 rate games his previous 3 straight. He only took 1 sack last week, had taken 2 to 3 his previous 3. Max Crosby, the primary concern on this front, he picked up his 10th sack of 2025 last week, has a bag in 3 straight games.
He's an elite player regardless of position in the league.
That was the Raiders' only sack of Jalen Hurts, though. Didn't give up a lot of yards to him, but he went 12 of 15 against them, gave up 3 touchdowns to him, didn't pick him off, over 11 yards per attempt allowed for a Mondo 154 rating allowed. Vegas gave up 31 points when the day was over.
I don't think it could have gone any better today for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Raiders secondary gave up 41 yards and a TD to A.J. Brown, 50 yards to Devontae Smith. Nico Collins, on the same skill level as those blokes, led the team with 85 yards versus Arizona, scored twice.
End zone, touchdown, Nico Collins!
Nico cracked 1,000 for the year with that effort. Tight end Dalton Schultz led the team in targets versus the Birds, caught 8 of his 9 for 76 yards and a TD.
Throws on the move, touchdown Texans! Dalton Schultz!
He could string a couple of good games together, being the Raiders also gave up 70 yards and 2 touchdowns to Dallas Goedert. Their defense did at least play Saquon Barkley tough, held him to 3.5 a carry. Woody Marks left last week's game hurt. In stepped Jawar Jordan, first game in the Bigs, broke away for a 50-yard run as part of a 101-yard game. What a way to debut.
Hit across midfield. Jawar Jordan. Inside the 20, all the way down near the 16 of Arizona.
Driving into the tight end, then a nice cutback by Jordan, and the rest is history.
Texans up 8-5 over the Raiders overall, beat them the first 3 straight games they ever met.
Houston entered their Week 4 matchup against the Raiders on a high. And with David Carr leading 5 scoring drives, that's exactly where they stayed.
On 3rd and 6, Carr under center, gets the snap, backs up in the pocket, looking left, now scrambles to his left, throws over the middle, pop Johnson at the 5, he's in, touchdown Texans!
Filling in for an injured Dominic Davis, running back Jonathan Wells ran for a career-high 105 yards and a touchdown.
Hand off Wells, right side, powering his way toward the goal line, he's in, touchdown Texans!
Led by defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, the Texans tied a team record, forcing 5 turnovers. In 9 tries, Houston had never won back-to-back games, but a series of big plays from the Texans' pass defense put this one in the record books.
To throw under pressure, fired, intercepted! Dante Robinson with his first career pick. Collins to throw. Passing left side downfield. Robinson with the pick at the 5-yard line. His second pick of the game. Collins under center, back to throw. Airs it out left side of the end zone. Intercepted, Petey Fagans.
This is the first of his career. What a big time to get it.
I know you guys feel the same way I do. I'm tired of hearing we can't win 2 in a row. Well, we don't have to hear that anymore. We hung in there. We went out and made the plays. How about those turnovers by the defense? We Here we go. Pull it in. Texan pride. 1, 2, 3. Texan pride. Oh, come on.
New York Jets fly south Week 16, not coming in on a soul plane, have lost 4 of their last 5, so not riding in high at all, remain in the hunt for the top pick in the 2026 draft as a result.
You're a Jets fan too right now. Obviously it's been a down year, but probably the most important thing is make sure you have the quarterback.
They are in New Orleans this week. The Saints not seeming to care about draft slot. 2 wins in a row? Somebody stop these guys.
Nobody's on it, and now the pile leads to a Saints upset.
I mean, some Who Dat fans are like, no, really, somebody stop them. But look at the rest of their schedule. Jets this week, then the Titans, then the Falcons. I mean, why not finish 2025 off on a 5-game bender? Not talking to you, Bending Rodriguez. And if that run included a bunch of good games from Tyler Shuck, then NOLA fans wouldn't care about draft slot. Shuck is on a nice run right now, relative to the situation he's in. 235 plus yards in 4 of his last 5 games after going for 272 on 24 of 32 passing versus Carolina. A touchdown, no picks, his second 110-plus rate game in 6 starts.
And right now, Tyler Shuck seeming to be in flow state a little bit throwing the football.
Shuck, if it sounded like I said shock last week, it was probably AI. But whether with his arm or legs, Shuck has shown a little something in each of their last 5 games. Now, if we need to slow our roll, which Snoop says is a good thing, he did take 5 sacks versus the Panthers, and they only scored 20 points. That's fewer than 21 points in 8 of their last 9.
What I'd love to see more from Shuck in those moments is understanding that he's got big holes behind him and throwing with anticipation.
Well, how about a Jets defense that gave up 48 points last week, didn't sack Trevor Lawrence once on 32 chances, gave up 51 rush yards to him, 1 TD along the ground, along with 330 passing yards, 5 air TDs, a 136 rate.
Etienne and makes a man miss at the 33, along the sidelines, into the end zone!
Gave up 3 receiving touchdowns to Travis Etienne, 71 yards to Jacoby Myers, 66 and a TD to Brian Thomas. Sounds like something Chris Olave could work with, 85 yards and a touchdown versus the Panthers.
Yeah, this is like a Mortal Kombat video game. They're just continuing to press X and Y. Throw it to Chris Olave time and time again. He's getting open.
He's 100 yards and change from 1,000 yards for the year. Devon Vele, 69 yards, second game in his last 3 with 65 plus.
Second down for Shuck. He'll throw it downfield. Oh, what a grab by Vele! To the top of the mountain in front of Jackson.
Not much from their rush attack, 28 yards from Devin Neal, though he at least scored. Shuck led them with 32 ground yards. New York's defense didn't struggle with Etienne as a runner, held him to 32 yards. No real focal points on defense for Gang Green as they play it out, though. Not many on offense either, unless you think this Brady Cook kid can morph into something. It was cool to see him throw his first NFL touchdown with his parents watching.
The first NFL touchdown pass for Brady Cook, and the Jets are on the board.
Kinda went downhill from there through 3 INTs, only 176 yards, a 52 rating, took 3 sacks, offense only put up 20 points.
That was Brady Cook's worst throw of the day.
Jets under 21 points in 4 of their last 5 against a Saints defense that's held it down to less than 22 points in 4 of their last 5, holding Carolina to 17, only 1 trip allowed to see what Scott Hansen was up to.
Rico Dowdle is in, touchdown!
Saints held all Carolina pass catchers but 1 to less than 40 yards, 60 yards and a TD allowed to Jalen Coker. Held Bryce Young to 163 yards. Cook's TD went to Adonai Mitchell, 58 yards. Cool of him to make sure Cook got the ball after.
Adonai Mitchell doesn't have the football, bros.
You got to get it. It's Brady's first touchdown. That's a good wide receiver right there.
Isaiah Williams with a season-high 53 yards.
Third down, he rolls the pocket, which he did so well in college, and he's able to complete the pass to Isaiah Williams for a first down.
John Mechie, 25 yards. Breece Hall, only 23 yards rushing on 12 carries. Isaiah Davis led the way with 58 and a TD on 9 attempts.
Isaiah Davis with his first rushing touchdown of the year for 24 yards.
Saints defense held Rico Dowdle to 49 yards, 3-1 a carry. Saints up 2 all-time versus the Jets, 8-6. Let's check out the first ever New Orleans-New York tilt, which came in 1972.
In a year of searching, Joe and the Jets had some magic moments to remember. Games which kept people in their seats long after the final gun. Against the Saints, Bobby Howfield saved the offense, scoring all of their points on 6 field goals. the last of which beat the Saints to the tape 18-17. Hallfield led the AFC in scoring, missing only one inside the 37, more than justifying what some had called a bad trade.
Pressure is on for both these teams. The final stretch is going to be crazy. Detroit at home week 16 can't afford another loss and really have to hope Madagascar Marty feels like they're square up for all the Zebras Lions have feasted on over the years. Maybe after last week, they'll put it all behind them.
I think it's clearly short.
Yeah, definitely short. Wow.
What?
Road back to the postseason is hard enough, man. They host the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have strung a couple wins together to stay ahead of the Ravens by a game in the AFC North.
Hayward under center, he gets shoved. Touchdown Steelers.
Detroit, Cleveland, and then what should be an epic Week 18 face-off with Baltimore. Steelers' offense has been clicking as of late, too, fueled in large part by Aaron Rodgers, 23 of 27 passing last week versus Miami, 224 yards, 2 TDs, no interceptions, a 125 rate.
Then you see that window. As soon as Rodgers sees that with that two-deep safety look, that ball's coming in a hurry.
Rodgers hasn't thrown a pick in 4 straight, has put up a 100-plus rate game in 3 of his last 4. Each time he has, Pittsburgh's offense has been good for 27-plus points, put 28 on Miami, who had been tough to score on as of late.
Try to go to the air here. Rodgers end zone's got his man. Touchdown.
Steelers have won 8 games. Rodgers rating 95+ in each win. They haven't won any games when he's had a dud. So what are his chances against Detroit's secondary? They just gave up a 100+ rate to Matthew Stafford, 2 TDs, over 360 yards.
Stafford looking for more on the rollout. Has Parkinson. He's in.
Lions have not played quarterbacks great in 2025 either. Hard to when all your starters are missing half the time. Only 2 teams have allowed more TD passes than they have. Only one giving up more yards per catch. 94 rating allowed big picture, and have given up 27+ points in 4 straight after the Rams hit them with 41 a week ago.
Do that. Kyron Williams has number 2 on the day. Touchdown.
Their biggest issue versus LA, Puka Nacua, gave up 181 yards to him, 71 to Devontae Adams too. Would have been more save he left hurt. Now here comes DK. Metcalf scored versus the Finns, 55 yards.
Got it to DK Metcalf, and fighting his way for the touchdown. Pure strength.
DK, averaging 57 yards per game this season, has 2 C-note showings. Not sure if the refs will give Pat Freiermuth the Colby Parkinson treatment. He chipped in 45 yards in their latest win.
Quick throw wide open, Freiermuth. And a first down to the 26.
Kenneth Gainwell, the only other Steeler last week with 40+ receiving yards, led the team with 7 targets, caught all of them for 46 yards.
Look at this offense this year and what they've been able to do. He's been as valuable as any player on this team.
Rodgers has been leaning on Gainwell a lot lately. He's caught 6 to 7 passes in 4 of their last 5 games. And last week, he went for 80 yards on the ground too, 6.2 per romp.
Gainwell finds a little room over the right side. Survived a hit.
Gainwell has been given 10+ attempts 3 times in 2025. Each time, 80+ yards. So maybe make sure he gets 10 this week, especially being the Lions just gave up 78 yards on 5.5 an attempt to Kyron Williams, 2 TDs, and 71 yards on 6.5 a run, and a touchdown to Blake Corum.
Corum to the outside, and it's a touchdown.
It's awesome complimentary football.
Detroit's front had been tougher on runners prior, so that showing was a little out of character. They did at least take Stafford down a couple of times, hit him a healthy 8 times, Aiden Hutchinson his 9.5 bag.
It's coming. Now Stafford in trouble, rolls away, and he's dropped.
Would be nice if we got to see Hutch and TJ do their thing, but Watt isn't expected to be back yet. Hard to say how long it takes to recover from a collapsed lung. Pittsburgh's defense fared well in its first game without him at least. held Miami to 15 points, 2 for 8 on third down.
There's a blitz. Tagovailoa knocked down.
Ramsey's breathing down his neck.
They're holding teams to 23 a game for the year. Solid, not great. Holding Detroit's offense to that would be a win, though. 34 in their loss to LA, 24 or more in 7 of their last 8.
Quick throw, screen, St. Brown gets a block. Amon-Ra spins his way to the end zone.
Jared Goff threw for over 330 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, a 111 rating, back-to-back 300-plus yard showings, 100-plus rate in 3 straight, so he has his Jared Goffling act going lately.
Goff does a great job navigating the pocket, stepping up, and then throwing on the run.
Pittsburgh's secondary just gave up 2 touchdowns and over 250 yards to Tua Tagovailoa, a 113 rate on 22 of 28 passing. Mind you, he's a dude with an 88 rating for the year, averaging 190 yards per game, so not the strongest of efforts by their DB room.
Tagovailoa slides through, end zone, touchdown.
Steelers play versus the pass this season, middle of the pack, or mid if you're into the whole brevity thing. Their pass rush is better than mid, though. Only 4 teams with more sacks in 2025, and even without Watt, they planted Tua 4 times on just 28 pass attempts.
Tagovailoa is sacked. Cameron Hayward gets the sack and a loss of 7.
Goff only sacked once on 41 pass attempts last week. Steelers' backside didn't have issues with Miami's receivers, held Jalen Waddle to 26 yards. It was tight ends and running back Devon Achane they struggled with. 46 yards allowed to Greg Dulcich, 66 yards and 2 TDs to Darren Waller, and 67 yards allowed to Achane. Cue Jahmyr Gibbs then, only 20 receiving yards on 7 targets versus the Rams, only ran for 38 yards on 2.9 a carry too, so he's looking to rebound. Pittsburgh's corners will be in the limelight because they have to try and stop J-Mo and St. Brown. Amon-Ra with 13 catches, 164 yards, and 2 scores versus LA.
Going deep, end zone, it's caught! Touchdown, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
St. Brown over 1,100 yards for 2025. Jamison Williams on the cusp of his second K year in a row after racing to 134 yards and a TD versus the Rams, 88-plus yards in 5 of his last 6.
Going for it all, Jamison Williams, he's got it!
Mentioned Gibbs' poor day as a runner. They did get a touchdown from David Montgomery at least, 4.6 per on his 7 attempts.
It's knocking linebackers, defensive ends, and then Montgomery through the defense, making one guy miss, stiff arm and 4.
Steelers didn't handle Achane great along the ground either. Gave up 5 a carry to him on 12 attempts.
Here he is again on the toss. He gets some blocking, and there he goes. Big play for Achane.
Last time these two played, Luke kissed Leia. Pittsburgh had beaten Detroit 13 of the last 16 meetings along with that tie. They played their first ever game against each other in 1934. Only one game between them in the 70s, 1973.
In Pittsburgh for opening day, the Lions met the Steelers head-on as an aggressive defense unit led by Lem Barney stymied the Steel Gang for most of the afternoon.
Steeler head coach Chuck Noll is fully aware that a division title brings with it a curse, for it almost always brings out an opponent's best. But he's also aware that he has the men to successfully face such a test as the Steeler offense highballs to 24 points.
And here we are, NFC South supremacy on the line, so didn't matter in a way because here we are, right? Carolina at home for round 1 with the Bucs playing for first place. What does it matter that we just got swept by the Aints?
With the division on the line for Carolina, it is good, leads to a Saints upset.
Or that Tampa Bay fell back to 500, or that they've lost 5 of their last 6.
Gonzalez, and the kick is just inside the left upright. come from behind with the last 15 points and win at 29-28.
Because here we are. It's like the Bad News Bears facing the Little Giants, sort of, but at least the Bucs offense woke up with the return of Jalen McMillan, couple of big catches, and Mike Evans, who had a huge game in his return. Tampa with 28 points versus the Falcons after finishing with less than 21 points their previous 3 games.
But where this football is thrown and the chemistry you have there with Baker Mayfield and the size and hands of Mike Evans.
Baker could have been better, missed a big third down throw. His INT really hurt too. On the Mr. Bright side of things, he threw for 2 touchdowns, 270 plus yards.
4-man rush, pass, caught, touchdown. Devin Cope.
Mayfield only completed 55% of his passes, though, has finished under 58% in 4 of his last 5 games, a pick or 2 in each of those games as well. And now, onto a Panthers secondary that gave up a 100-plus rate to Tyler Shuck, letting him throw for 270-plus yards without picking him off.
On 3rd down, Shuck goes that way. Olave, touchdown! You never know in this division.
They've played the pass better most games, and it didn't lead them to giving up a ton of points, held New Orleans to 20, 4th time they've held an offense to less than 21 in 4 of their last 6.
It's incomplete. Jackson separated Olave from the football.
And how about a 5-bag shopping trip? That's as good a pass rush outing as they've had all year.
Shuck got to get 14. He's engulfed, and he is sacked again. And the Panthers have back-to-back sacks.
Secondary gave up 85 yards and a TD to Chris Olave, 69 yards to Devon Vele. Mike Evans next, his resume more impressive, 132 yards in his first game since Week 7.
Welcome back, Mike Evans. I'll tell you what, 50-50 balls for him, they're 80-20.
Evans' presence helped Emeka Egbuka, 64 yards, hadn't topped 44 in his previous 4 outings.
And this is a huge play for him. He's going up against one of the top corners in the NFL, but a great catch by Emeka Egbuka. Good to see the smile there.
McMillan, 38 yards in his first game of the year. Chris Godwin, 20 yards and a TD. Mayfield took 5 sacks on 34 pass attempts. Most times he's been dropped in a game this season.
Mayfield, look out. Gets swallowed up. LaCale London.
Bucs' run game still kind of off. Bucky Irving, 60 yards, just 3.8 a carry. His 3rd straight game under 3.9.
Irving. Nope.
Panthers held New Orleans' rush attack to 81 yards, 3.2 a carry. Not something you write home about, being the Saints' rush attack is what it is. And no one's emailing Grandma about Carolina's Week 15 run game. Rico Dowdle scored, but only 49 yards, 3.1 per attempt. Panthers offense only good for 17 points.
Rico Dowdle bottled up by Bullard and company. That is a loss.
That's fewer than 18 points, 4 of their last 6 shifts, 30 plus in the other 2 though. And Tampa's defense didn't just give up 29 points last week, they did it despite having 2 short on their side. It went on and on, couldn't understand why it was lasting so long, but flag after flag kept coming down. Please NFL, no more refs from Oaktown. Falcons got flagged 19 times, plenty on the offensive side, and still the Bucs gave up 24 plus points for the 5th time in their last 6 games.
Into the end zone, Brian Robinson for the Bijan Robinson for the touchdown.
Bucs D didn't have many answers for Bijan Robinson either. Gave up 4.9 a carry to him in their loss, 93 yards. They only sacked Kirk Cousins once on 44 pass attempts, and he's no escape room artist. Secondary, in turn, gave up 3 TDs to him without picking him off once, 370 plus yards, a 117 rate.
Cousins over the middle, wide open, and there into the end zone goes Kyle Pitts for the touchdown.
Too bad Carolina's not equipped with a top-end tight end. Tampa Bay gave up 166 yards and 3 TDs on 11 catches to Kyle Pitts, even though they knew he was the main target for Cousins most of the game. 78 yards allowed to David Sills, and should have been like 40 more, but he dropped a long, wide-open pass. Gave up 82 receiving yards to Robinson through the air as well. Young only threw for 163 yards. Didn't get picked off. 1 touchdown, a mid-90s rate. Jalen Coker, the only Carolina pass catcher to crack 40 yards, 60 yards and a TD.
He drops it in for Coker. What a rainbow!
Young was only sacked once, but that was his 11th game out of 13 under 210 yards passing. Bucks have taken the Panthers 5 straight times, 9 out of the last 10. How did their story begin? We travel back to 1995 to find out.
Against the Panthers, Bobby Joe Edmonds' 45-yard punt return set up an all-Eric Rhett touchdown drive.
Sweat, the handoff goes to Red. Runs left, finds Zay to the 2-1. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
The defense forced 3 Carolina turnovers.
Again, it is Derek Moore. He is killing the backfield. Fumble football. Bucks have come up with it.
A concussion to Trent Dilfer brought in backup Casey Weldon, who would lead his team on a game-winning drive. Tight end Jackie Harris caught 5 passes for over 100 yards and set up Weldon for the go-ahead score.
Moore knocking on the Panther door. It is 2nd down and goal from a yard and a half away. Weldon hurdles over the top. He has got a touchdown, Tampa Bay.
New England Patriots hit the road, having to wipe away the taste of defeat from their mouths for the first time in a long while. Their win streak stopped at 10.
On a give, Cook slices through, and he takes it in for the touchdown. A silencer. 5 straight drives with touchdowns for the Bills.
From one elite dual threat type to another, Baltimore Ravens are in town, 2-game losing skid over, back at 500 and ready for a very tough last 3 games.
Jackson towards the end zone, and it is caught. Flowers for the Ravens, touchdown.
Patriots at home this week, road game versus the Jets, and then the Dolphins at home. What jumps out about this matchup initially, Drake May comes in off his worst game. First game under 200 yards passing, only 155 yards, no TDs, got picked off, a 62 rating, hadn't finished under 80 all year.
Get a shot downfield. What an effort by White!
May having to try and rebound versus a secondary that just picked off Joe Burrow twice. No touchdowns, under 6 yards per attempt, a sub-60 rate. House called one of the INTs in classic backyard fashion.
And he's intercepted, picked off by Van Noy. Then the handoff, it's Gilman. And Gilman is gonna score!
Ravens defense just feasted on a Krispy Kreme Week 15, held Cincy to 3 for 15 on 3rd down, only 1 red zone trip allowed. Keep in mind that was an offense that went into that one off 2 30-plus point games.
Well covered by Baltimore, and Zachary Orr's defense again holds for the Ravens on a 4th and 4.
Now, the previous 2 games, Baltimore gave up 27-plus points, and New England's offense, despite May's dud, still put up 31 on Buffalo, extending their 24-plus point streak to 9 games.
Henderson! He's going the distance! And he's gone!
Driving force last week, New England's rush attack, Ramondre Stevenson, 50 yards, 8.3 per.
And it's Stevenson with a strong one going up the middle.
Travion Henderson, 2 touchdowns, 148 yards, a 65-yarder that when I looked up, I was like, oh, if that wideout cuts off that DB, it's a score.
And Henderson is off to the races! Look at May. Does he have another one in him?
May sprung him.
He does! Touchdown! Goodbye! Travion Henderson!
Drake May leading the way!
May didn't just block on a TD run, he was behind the blocking for 2 of his own, 43 ground yards.
Shotgun. May. He's gonna run! Wow. Second score of the day, Drake May!
Burrow, obviously not the running type, but the Ravens have been especially tough on quarterbacks when they try and run on them, held running backs to 4.2 a try as well, held Cincinnati's rush attack to 3.4 per carry.
Give it to P. Ryan.
Their front also made a difference in the passing game, which they haven't done many games, sacking Burrow 3 times, hit him a fat 10 times.
As the Ravens defense has had all the answers, and Burrow smothered again. Travis Jones.
Those 3 sacks brings their total to just 22, but May got dropped 3 times, second game in a row he's taken that many.
May brought down by Milano.
Baltimore's backside guys gave up 132 yards to Jamar Chase, held everyone else under 40 yards. Mac Hollins led New England with 41 yards, took 8 targets to get there too. Kayshon Boutte, 30 yards, Stephon Diggs, 26, Hunter Henry, 18, so none coming in with any mojo. And not many Ravens pass catchers do either. Lamar Jackson only threw 12 times versus Cincinnati. At least they were chunky, 12.5 per attempt, 2 TDs, a 114 rate.
Jackson underneath, it's Ali, first down and a lot more. Ali in for the Ravens touchdown.
Hadn't put up a 90-plus rate in 6 weeks, and he only threw for 150 yards. Offense was just 2 for 7 on third down, only 1 red zone trip, only accounted for 17 points, so that's 5 straight now. They've scored under 24 points.
Was that picked? And yes, it was.
Jackson took 4 more sacks too, and again, just 12 pass attempts. That's a tough ratio.
Everyone covered. Jackson down again.
The Pats pass rush he tries to dodge next only got to Josh Allen twice on 28 pass attempts. Harold Landry with a bag in his 3rd straight though, 8.5 for 2025, but it wasn't enough to slow Allen down. They gave up 3 touchdowns to him, didn't pick him off, a 123 rate allowed.
End zone, touchdown! Josh Allen to Dawson Knox.
Gave up 48 rush yards to him as well, 107 and 2 TDs, 4.9 a run to James Cook.
Give it to Cook. Cook breaks a tackle and then dishes out some punishment.
And all of that allowed Buffalo to hang 35 points on him, 8 for 14 on third down, 5 for 6 in the red zone.
Catch made by Cook, and he waltzes in for the touchdown.
First time anyone scored 24-plus points on them in 12 games. New England's secondary allowed 71 yards combined to tight ends Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid, 2 touchdowns allowed to Knox. The only Bills pass catcher to get 40-plus yards against their DBs, Khalil Shakir with 65. The only Raven with 33-plus yards, Zay Flowers, a touchdown, 68 yards.
Zay Flowers, well, he caught it. Flowers makes the catch.
How did he catch that ball?
Zay about to break the 1,000-yard barrier. D-Hop, 32 yards versus the Bengals. Mark Andrews, 18. Lots of beef between these two, despite only 16 meetings between them ever, courtesy of 4 playoff face-offs. But man, what a game they played the very first time they hooked up. Not too many series have started off this way.
After a week off, New England continued its winning ways, notching 3 victories in its next 4 games. The Patriots' front line in 1996 was anchored by Pro Bowler Bruce Armstrong, along with players like Max Lane, Dave Woolaba, Todd Rucci, and William Roberts. Behind these mighty men, New England reached the end zone 4 times against the Ravens, which seemed to erase any lingering doubts about what the offense could do.
Ever since that game, we started, executing a lot better. We started putting the ball in the end zone instead of kicking field goals, and instead of punting, we were getting the first downs we needed. So we began to gel together as an offense.
Heads-up special teams play polished off the Patriots' 46-point day.
Indianapolis Colts at home for Monday Night Football this week, desperate to try and end a 4-game losing skid that even Father Time couldn't do much about.
Rivers down the middle of the field, and it is intercepted. Colts gave it all they had.
They have faced some tough foes down the stretch, and it doesn't get any easier with the San Francisco 49ers coming to town, rolling in on a 4-game win streak.
Purdy trying to buy some time, throws downfield and connects with Demarcus Robinson for a big gain.
Niners' final 3 games, also against above 500 level teams. Indy just doesn't feel like one right now. Niners defense just has to handle Grandpa Simpson and hope their offense keeps doing what it's been doing. 37 points versus Tennessee, giving them 26-plus points in 5 of their last 6.
Maneuvering, jumps, throws, touchdown, and it's a rout in Santa Clara.
Passing attack finally looked like what they expected it to look like when the year started. Brock Purdy comes in off his best BCB showing of 2025, 295 yards, 3 TDs, no picks, 23 of 30 passing for a season-high 140 rate.
Purdy pumps and throws, and it is caught for the touchdown by Jennings.
He is looking at a defense that did everything it could to pull off an upset over Seattle. They didn't give up any touchdowns to Sam Darnold, held him to a sub-90 rate, held Seattle to 18 points.
This will not be easy sledding at all for the Seattle offense. We've seen how much they've struggled.
They've held 3 of the last 4 offenses they've faced to fewer than 24 points, just not getting enough help from their own O. Only sacked Darnold once on 36 pass attempts, did give up 271 yards to him, 113 to JSN, 74 to Rashid Shaheed. Purdy took 2 sacks on his 30 pass attempts, only lost 3 yards. He hit Ricky Pearsall for 96 yards. He led the team versus the Titans.
Purdy sets up, deep shot down the middle. He's got Pearsall down inside the 15.
Found Juwan Jennings for 2 TDs.
Scrambling, throwing, end zone, Jennings, he is in again!
And he connected with George Kittle for a touchdown and 88 yards. The long-lost Trailer Park Boys brother, good for 67-plus yards in his last 5.
He finds big George Kittle. First down, chain-moving grabs.
Once a Trailer Park Boy, always a Trailer Park Boy. Not sure CMC would be part of that brotherhood. A little too GQ. McCaffrey had a quiet day as a pass catcher. 73 yards and a TD as a runner, though.
Can they do it again, or is it McCaffrey? It's McCaffrey. CMC takes it in.
Just have to accept the fact he grinds most games for his yards down low. 3.3 a carry last week. That's the 11th time under 4 in 14 games. Jonathan Taylor knows the feeling. 87 yards versus Seattle.
Taylor, and he's wrapped up. It was Reed in the backfield. A loss of 3 on the play.
His long last week, just 11 yards. He ran 25 times for 3.5 per carry, 3rd time in his last 4. Connected to that, Indy's offense not being able to light up the scoreboard much, 16 points versus Seattle, haven't topped 20 in 4 straight games.
Rivers to the air, lost his footing, and now he goes down.
Colts only made it inside the 20 once last week, even though they had countless 40-year-old Joe Beer cans and Uncle Rico's rooting on Phillip Rivers, who did prove Lloyd Christmas knew what he was talking about. I guess they're right. Senior citizens, although slow and dangerous behind the wheel, can still serve a purpose.
And he's got a man, touchdown! And that's Phillip Rivers with a touchdown pass.
It was cool to see him almost pull it off, but if you didn't know his situation, you would have simply seen a quarterback only manage 120 yards on 18 of 27 passing for a paltry 4.4 per attempt. Not one Colts pass catcher with 40 yards. Michael Pittman, 26. Alec Pierce, 16. Tyler Warren, 19. Josh Downs, 13. Rivers only took 1 sack for 2 yards, in part because he was getting rid of the ball in 2.3 seconds after the snap on average. That's lightning quick.
At some point, the Indianapolis Colts offense, they're going to have to take a shot down the field.
49ers defense is going to feel like they went from trying to decipher an iPhone 17 to a dial-up phone. Faced Cam Ward last week, held him to 170 yards, less than 6 yards per attempt, but also gave up 2 TDs to him without picking him off. Gave up a 100-plus rate to him, didn't sack the most sacked quarterback a single time, gave up 24 points to a Tennessee offense, averaging 16 for the year.
He's got time, got a man downfield, it's caught by Helm, touchdown!
And here's the silver lining for JT. San Francisco got gashed down low, gave up a 20-yard run to Tyjae Spears, and 104 yards on 7.4 a carry to Tony Pollard, plus a TD.
It'll be a handoff for Pollard, and he rumbles in for the touchdown.
49ers have won 3 straight road games, 6-2 away from the Bay this season. Colts have won the last 4 straight games over the 49ers, beat them head-to-head 13 in a row from 1962 to 1968. The one and only time they met in the 70s turned out to be a San Francisco treat.
With the Colts in town, number 53, Tommy Hart, showed the courage that won him this year's Lynn Eshmont Award as he raced, slashed, crashed, and crawled on his hands and knees to sack the quarterback. While the pass rush was relentless, the deep backs and linebackers were tenacious as they hung all over the Colts. The offensive line, led by Forrest Blue and Lynn Rohde, opened huge holes for number 35, Larry Schreiber, who crashed through for 104 yards. Running back Ken Willard, number 40, gathered in one Spurrier pass, and Steve continued to throw for the deep 6 and Ted Qualick. And whether the fans knew it or not, their big red wave was just beginning to crest.